Senator Carper, you're recognized for your questions.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, there is a river that separates my native state of West Virginia with Ohio, and there are a number of bridges that cross and connect those two states, West Virginia and Ohio, where I went to college. And I was wondering if maybe if Congressman Rahal could share with us the name of one of those bridges. I think it might be close to Huntington. Would you know who that might be? Who's that bridge named after? I think it's called Nahal. It's Rahal.
Well, yes, yes,
it's
Senator
your bridge,
Carper.
isn't it?
That bridge is named after me, and you'll be happy to know there are no bullet holes in the sign to this day.
That's good. That's good. I've been Delaware's treasurer, congressman, governor, senator, was naval flight officer for 20 years before that. You know how many things are named after me in Delaware? None. And you've got your own bridge, and I'm a native of West Virginia. So.
I know you're a native of my hometown.
There you go, Beckley boy. Great to see you. And
Good to see you again, Senator.
Always a pleasure to cross paths with you. That was my first question. I just wanted to give that one to you as a softball. And now I'm going to turn Ms. Albert, if I can, for really the tough questioning. Ms. Albert, thanks for joining us today. And I serve on this committee. I think I'm the longest serving person who serves on this committee these days. And I chair a committee on Environment and Public Works, which has oversight, as you may know, over public buildings. And I'm fairly familiar with GSA's federal real property footprint and the need for efficient property disposal. I think it was October of last year, October 22, that GAO released a report that recommended that the GSA develop a process to better apply lessons learned from 2019 to 2021 rounds of disposals required by the Federal Asset Sales and Transfer Act to improve results in the 2024 round of disposal. My question for you, Ms. Albert, is this. Can you just please share with us the actions that GSA has taken or plans to take in order to incorporate lessons learned from the first two rounds of FASTA ahead of the final 2024 round?
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you also for your leadership on the PW committee.
Love doing it. Thank you.
I believe that many of the issues that we experienced in the first two rounds and a little bit of the disconnection that the parties had are at least identified now. I personally have met with the PBRB several times and am committed to making sure that the lessons learned get incorporated into future rounds. I believe that there are a number of proposals that will make the next round more successful than the past rounds, and Representative Rahal's alluded to some of those. But my primary interest in moving forward and thinking about how we should prepare this last round for success is to identify what we're trying to prove. What's the proof of concept that this next round can bring to bear? Is it about forward funding agency moves, and how quickly does that accelerate the process? Is it the disposition strategy, marketing, or these other activities that really generate greater interest? I think that we're well positioned at this point to have conversations about what we think this next round of projects can prove and demonstrate, and I have confidence that we'll be able to align in that.
Great. Good, thank you. I have a second question for you, and then maybe another question for another member of the panel. But my second question for you, Ms. Albert, deals with space utilization and disposal challenges. Though federal, I want to say though, I think the federal assets, the FASTA was signed into law, I think it was in 2016. But the COVID-19 pandemic has dramatically changed, as you know, changed the needs for office space due to increased hybrid and remote work options. We're hearing from cities all over the country where they have office space that they used to rent robustly, that a lot of it's thinning out, and it's causing really a hardship for city governments to meet their budgets, raise their budgets. But still, it's critical that the agencies accurately report space utilization needs in order to efficiently dispose of unused and underused properties. And here's my question. In your view, have agencies been reporting properties for disposal in a way that accurately reflects their current space needs? I'll say that again. In your view, have agencies been reporting properties for disposal in a way that accurately reflects their current space needs? And a follow-up to that will be, how is the GSA helping agencies balance flexibility to account for uncertain future space needs while improving the efficiency of the property disposal process? Sort of a two-part question.
Thank you. I might need to ask you for the second part
I'll
when
give it
I'm
to you.
done with the
I'll give
first.
it to you.
Right now, I describe what's happened in the marketplace and in workplaces as the swinging of the pendulum. We were starting in one place before the pandemic. The pandemic almost swung to the exact opposite side of the scale, where everybody, due to the emergency state that we were in, needed to work from home. And so right now, the pendulum is swinging back, but we don't yet know where the final resting place is. To me, as a property manager and as a portfolio manager, we don't need to know the exact number, because at a portfolio the scale, the size of the federal governments and of GSAs, there's a lot of work that we can be doing now to create the practices and the nimbleness that we believe we need to address the savings and the space optimization that we can over the next 5 to 10 years. So pre-pandemic, we knew that there was an excess of space. This is pretty well documented. And right now, with OMB's recent memorandum asking agencies to report out on, what their organizational strategy is for workforce. That includes telework, but it includes other organizational performance initiatives. We're going to continue over the next year, I would say, to understand where that pendulum is finally going to rest. I will say, as a asset manager and portfolio manager, I don't need to wait completely for a final answer, but agencies, before they're willing to give up space, will want to have a better understanding of how they plan to operate for the next term. I just want to point out one activity in particular that I believe is going to become increasingly important, and you referenced it. We manage our owned facilities. We also manage a very significant lease portfolio. And our successes in consolidating leases into both federally owned space as well as into other leases has saved the government money over the past 5 years to the tune of $6.5 billion. We've reduced the lease portfolio by over 13 million square feet. In the last 5 years—
How much?
13 million square feet. We've also—
That's about the size of Delaware.
No comment. No, just joking.
We're still growing.
The other, we have also reduced the owned portfolio in the last 5 years by close to 13 million square feet. So we are implementing today and still the necessary consolidation actions that were planned pre-pandemic. And if we can get access to some of the ideas and authorities that we've mentioned today, that GSA's proposed in our FY24 budget, then I believe we can be very well poised to deal with any increase in disposal actions or lease consolidation actions that we anticipate in the future.
Good. My time has more than expired, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being lenient. And I'd like to submit a couple questions for the record. I want to make sure that you had if you're satisfied with all that you— did you have time to do my follow-up question, which was, how is the GSA helping agencies balance flexibility to account for uncertain future space needs while improving the efficiency of the property disposal process? You asked me to repeat that, and I did. If I could just get you a short answer to that.
Sure. We are offering unique services right now, both in the form of access to consultants who are experts in both portfolio optimization as well as space planning. We also have been much more, I would say, innovative in terms of offering access to private co-working space, and we are right now considering how to execute and pilot federal co-working space, again, to allow and give access to flexible space that agencies need now at a lower price. We've had a big announcement, and certainly invite you and any other member of the committee to come to our Workplace Innovation Lab, where we are enticing and demonstrating to agencies— it's the carrot side of our business— how can you do this? What does hybrid workplace look like? It includes seamless and frictionless access to technology, so somebody can work as effectively in the office as they do from their home, as they do from their project site. And last but not least, I think a really exciting offering that we're going to be sharing is transparency of our leased and owned inventory so that agencies can see in advance when leases are expiring by other agencies. And therefore, when they have a bigger picture and broader picture of what the federal long-term federal holdings are, they can more confidently let go of the space that they have where leases might be expiring now. There's many components to effective management, but we are working and offering customers a lot of tools to help them more effectively and more quickly plan what their future workplace needs are.
That's great. Mr. Chairman, again, appreciate the time to ask these questions and to hear responses. Ms. Moronak, you barely see your lips moving when she spoke. And I would say to my friend Nikki Joe, that's what we call him in West Virginia. It's great to see you again. Thank you all your years of service, and you never changed. You never changed. Great to see you, buddy. Take care. Thanks so much. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.